کسی آرام جان من دیگه قدر تو بیشتر میدونم تا ابد
صل علی محمد و آل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحیم. السلام علیکم و رحمت الله و برکاته. We thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving us the opportunity and the tawfiq to be at Masjid al-Rasul on this Friday night. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept your Jama'ah prayers, inshallah. We will start off our program tonight with recitation of verses. If I can have everyone's attention, please, my sisters. We will start off our program with recitation of Surah Mubarakah and Fall, inshallah, verses 31 through 37 of Surah Mubarakah and Fall, which will be recited by Haj Karim Bassam. The Farsi translation will be recited by Brother Ismail Hamkar, and the English translation will be recited by Brother Abdul Razak Cole. Inshallah, on the second session of our tonight program, for now, I have Brother Mehdi Naqawi, who has a Farsi poem. If there's anybody else, please let me know so I can give you time. Otherwise, we will go through our announcement and we will have H.I Ahmad Modarres speech on the third session, inshallah. از محترم حاج کریم بسام خواهش میکنم تشریف برن و آیه 31 تا 37 سوره مبارکه انفال تلاوت بفرمایند. دوستا عزیزا لطفاً خواهشاً سکوت رعایت بفرمایند و صلوات علی محمد و آل محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وإذا تتلى عليهم آياتنا قالوا قد سمعنا لو نشاء قد سمعنا لو نشاء لقلنا مثل هذا إن هذا إلا أساطير الأولين. وإذ قالوا اللهم إن كان هذا هو الحق من عندك فامطر علينا حجارة من السماء أو ائتنا بعذاب أليم. وما كان الله ليعذبهم وأنت فيهم وما كان الله معذبهم وهم يستغفرون. وما لهم ألا يعذبهم الله عن المسجد الحرام وما كانوا أولياء إن أولياء إلا المتقون ولكن أكثرهم لا يعلمون وما كان صلاتهم عند البيت إلا مكاء وتسدية فذوقوا العذاب بما كنتم تكفرون إن الذين كفروا ينفقون أموالهم ليصدوا عن سبيل الله فسينفقونها ثم تكون عليهم حسرة ثم يغلبون والذين كفروا إلى جهنم يحشرون ليميز الله الخبيث من الطيب ويجعل الخبيث بعضه على بعض على بعض فيركمه جميعا فيجعله في جهنم أولئك هم الخاسرون صدق الله العلي العظيم. الفاتحة مع الصلوات.
أعوذ بالله من الشیطان اللعین الرجیم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحیم. و آنگاه که آیات ما بر آنها خوانده می شود می گویند پس از این شنیده ایم و اگر می خواستیم می توانستیم همانند آن را بگوییم. اینها چیزی جز افسانه های پیشینیان نیست. و به یاد آور که چگونه آنها گفتند بار خدایا اگر این حق است که از این سو تو آمده است که از سوی تو آمده است از آسمان بارانی از سنگ بر ما بباران یا عذاب درناک بر ما بفرست. اما خدا بر آن نبود که عذاب بر آنها بفرستد مادام که تو در بینشان بودی و نه خدا عذابشان می کرد مادام که طلب آمرزش می کردند. و چرا خدا عذابشان نکند در حالی که مردم را از مسجد الحرام باز می دارند و در حالی که متولیان آن نیستند و جز پرهیزکاران هیچ کس متولی آن نمیتواند باشد، ولی بیشترشان نمیتوانند و نماز و دعای آنها نزدیک خانه کعبه جز صوت کشیدن و دست زدن یعنی کف زدن نیست. پس به سبب کفرتان عذاب را بچشید. کسانی که کفر می ورزند اموالشان را خرج می کنند تا مردم را از راه خدا باز دارند، پس همچنان به خرج کردن ادامه خواهند داد، اما سرانجام حسرت و افسوس خواهند خورد. سپس مغلوب خواهند شد و همه کافران را یک جا در دوزخ گرد خواهند آورد تا خدا پلید را از پاک معلوم دارد و ناپاکان را بر روی یکدیگر قرار دهد، همه را روی هم انباشته کند و درون دوزخ افکند. اینان زیانکاران خواهند بود. صدق الله العلی العظیم و صلی الله علی سیدنا محمد و آله الطیبین الطاهرین.
In the name of Allah, the All-Beneficent, the All-Merciful. When our signs are recited to him, they say, "We have heard already." If we want, we too can say like this. These are nothing but myths of the ancients. And when they said, "O Allah, if this be the truth from you, rain down upon us stones from the sky, or bring us a painful punishment." But Allah will not punish them while you are in their midst, nor will Allah punish them while they plead for forgiveness. What excuse have they that Allah should not punish them when they bar the faithful from the holy mosque, and they are not its custodians? Its custodians are only the God-weary, but most of them do not know. Their prayer at the house is nothing but whistling and clapping. So taste the punishment because of what you used to deny. Indeed, the faithless spend their wealth to borrow from the way of Allah. Soon they will have spent it. Then it will be a cause of regret to them. Then they will be overcome, and the faithless will be gathered towards hell, so that Allah may separate the bad ones from the good, and place the bad on one another, and pile them up together, and cast them into hell. It is they who are the losers. Surely Allah has spoken the truth.
Thank you to Brother Haj Karim Bassam, Brother Ismail Hamkar, and Brother Abdul Razak Kool for recitation of Quran in Farsi and English translations. On the second session of our tonight program, as I mentioned, from the brother side, I have Brother Said Mehdi Naqawi, who has prepared and memorized and practiced on a Farsi poem. He's going to represent it to you all. Please pay attention. For the health of Brother Said Mehdi Naqawi and his family, please recite a salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. آماده باش در سفر، مقصد ما یکیست، سرآی ما جداست ولی بال و پر یکیست. اینها برای کشتن ما صف کشیدن، حذر کجای دشت بپرسی خبر یکیست. دار ما بین خیمه هاست، آتش که شعله ور شوید خشک و تر یکیست. تنها به این گناه که ما فرزند حیدریم، تنها به این دلیل که ما را پدر یکیست. عباس من برادر من، نور چشم من، طرز مصاف کردنش با پدر یکیست. تنها رجز بخوان بگو یا علی مدد، در چشم شیر یک نفر و صد نفر یکیست. بر محمد به اهل البیت محمد بلند صلوات. اللهم صل علی محمد و آل محمد.
MashaAllah, ahsan. Thanks to Brother Said Medina Qawi and his parents, who I'm sure took a long time for him to practice. Another salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. I don't have any more representers. With that said, we'll go over our regular announcements. Please be advised that we will have 2 nights of programs in commemoration of departure of our beloved Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and Shahada of Imam Reza alayhi salam on Sunday and Monday at 8 p.m. Please make sure to attend those programs. With that said, please see Brother H.I Ahmad and Brother Saeed Razak and make sure that your monthly donations are paid and up to date. And for whatever reason, if you're behind, please, if you can bring it up to date, we will greatly appreciate it. This masjid is depending on you and your donations to pay for utilities, for the insurance, for the maintenance of this place. So those donations need to keep coming and needs to be updated as much as possible with your help, inshallah. For those brothers and sisters who want to get our weekly email, please Google Masjid al-Rasul Simi Valley, find Masjid's webpage, scroll down to subscribe to email, click that, and you can add your own email address. That way you will be getting our weekly announcements and any other announcement that Masjid has, you will get it automatically, inshallah. With that being said, H.I Ahmad Modarres' speech for tonight, the title of the speech is Islam in Pursuit of Knowledge. Islam in Pursuit of Knowledge is the title of tonight's speech, inshallah. And now I respectfully welcome H.I Ahmad Modarres to Manbar for the speech with the salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Please. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. For the honor of our beloved Prophet, the seal of the messengers, the best of creation, Prophet Muhammad and his immaculate progeny Ahlul Bayt, recite a salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. وصلى الله على سيدنا حبيب إله العالمين أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد. وعلى أهل بيت الطيبين الطاهرين الهداة المهديين سيما بقية الله في السماوات والأراضين. قال الله تبارك وتعالى في القرآن الكريم: ومثل الذين كفروا كمثل الذي ينعق بما لا يسمع إلا دعاء ونداء صم بكم عمي فهم لا يعقلون. صدق الله العلي العظيم. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept our a'mal, our efforts in the month of Muharram and Safar, and inshallah hopefully our love to Abu Abdullah and Hussein, to the Prophet and his family, is a beacon of guidance, is a beacon of hope for all of us to strive for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to find inspiration, to find direction in the teachings of the Ahlul Bayt, especially Imam al-Hussein, in the month of Muharram, in the month of Safar. And may Allah accept it from all of us for the Day of Judgment, that we need these deeds to be a reserve for all of us in the Day of Judgment. And inshallah resurrect us with the Prophet and his family with the salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. history of Islam is truly fascinating, especially early years of Islam. And there's a lot to learn from that for our time as well, for our community as well. Because sometimes when we're dealing with people, when we are expecting change, when we are looking for change, it is possible for us to feel disappointed, hopeless, because there's a pushback. It's not as easy as we think it is to make people change. To make a community change even is much more difficult. It takes time. Even at the end of the day, there is no due date or there is no promised time for the change to happen. All we can do is we can try. But the history of Islam teaches us one important lesson, that it is possible, it is doable, it was already done. And for me to just say it's not going to happen, to be negative, it shows that I'm not really familiar with human's nature and with the history of humanity. Arabian Peninsula at the time, Hijaz, was a society that had no respect for many values that human beings have it as value today. For example, there was no sanctity for human life. Bloodshed, wars, battles was very common. Women's right, forget about right, even the right of life. It was something that we see there were practices where they had no sense of respect for their daughters' lives. They look at their daughters and women as burden. And another element in that time was to be knowledgeable, to be educated was not something positive. To be educated, to be a learned person, a literate person, it was looked down upon. It was not something to be proud of, or you can have that sense of pride in the society. But after Islam, many things changed. But one thing we should not forget, the moment you have human beings, to eradicate a problem is sometimes impossible. Especially when we talk about eradicating a thought. Eradication means to get rid of it 100%. It doesn't exist anymore. The moment you have something called human beings and their choice, is not possible. It's not like vaccination that you can say, okay, polio or this viral disease, we're able to eradicate it. Even what, for example, we see in Gaza, when this human being is in charge of their decisions, the barbarity and the massacre, the genocide that's taking place in Gaza, it's bringing back diseases that were considered to be eradicated. They were gone. They were never witnessed. But the moment you put human beings in that kind of life condition, things come back. When you look at about the way of thinking, let's say Islam comes for guidance, for belief, and you say, you know, we're going to get rid of kufr, disbelief. It's not that easy. To say that we're going to get rid of racism because Islam brought the value of taqwa and actually our efforts and what we do rather than ethnicity or race, is one is to say it and other is in reality. It's not that easy to eradicate of a thought. Even right now, since the time of our Prophet, what Islamic year we're in right now? Inshallah, you know by now. 1446. It means since Prophet migrated from Mecca to Medina in a lunar year, it has been 1,446 years. Islam began before that, but the point of our calendar is from the migration of the Prophet. Our Prophet, before migration to Medina, he spent another 13 years, 12, 13 years in Mecca. So if I add it to 1446, we have around 16. No, I'm talking about the 60, the number. Don't tell me the 1400. Yes, I know, thank you. 14 what? 60? Subhanallah, we're doing math here, mashallah. 69, right? 1469. 59. 1459. 1,459 years since the beginning of Islam. And even now, still those issues exist, not only in Muslim Ummah in the world. Racism, that we eradicated, yes, of course we were able to deal with so many problems, but we did not eradicate it. When it comes to gender issues, when you look at the treatment, ill treatment, unfair, inhuman treatment of women, were we able to eradicate it? No. We improved a lot, but we did not eradicate it. And one thing that changed a lot, not that we eradicated it, was the importance of knowledge, the importance of learning in Islam. And why I chose this. Muharram and Safar we are in the final days. We come to these majalis, we come to these programs, Friday nights, Jummah prayer. Hopefully we show up. And one thing in this show up is not just for one purpose. There are multiple benefits in coming to the programs, to the masjid, to the place of worship. There's a narration I discussed a long time ago. Is narrated from our second Imam alayhi salam, but also narrated from other ma'asumin, other infallibles, that when somebody goes to the masjid, goes to the mosque, they should get one of these benefits, or we said some of these benefits, all of them, if not all of them, at least one of them. And among the benefits of coming here, for example, on that list was to find good friends. Is go and to spend quality time with other people. Good people. Among the benefit is to learn knowledge. Among the other benefits is to have that sense of community, brotherhood, ukhuwah. So if somebody said, you go to the masjid to hang out. If one of the reasons you go to the masjid to hang out, that's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with it. There's unfortunately this negativity about everything we do that make us always be in this position to downplay the importance of things. Oh, people go to the masjid, why? To have food. All of them go together, and the reason I don't go is because I don't want to. I go for learning. These kind of excuses, it's come from the position of looking from we call superior position, that I'm looking down to people. That others are not as good as I am. I go for the knowledge, they go for the food. But the truth is, if I go somewhere and I sit and eat with them, that's not the way of non-believers. The prophets of God, one of their tradition, one of their sunnah was that they would eat with others. We have this narration about Ibrahim alayhi salam, that Ibrahim alayhi salam had this lifestyle that he would not eat alone. If he was somewhere that no one was present, from his family, from his friend, from someone that he knew, he would go and ask a stranger to join him. The same is about our Prophet. That if other people, we have that our Prophet, the messenger of God, if there were people who were sitting on the ground, they didn't have much to eat. If they would ask him to join asked the messenger of God to join him sitting on the ground and having some bread, he would not refuse. He would sit down and eat with them. Our Imams of Ahlul Bayt bin said the same thing. If it was Imam al-Hassan, if it was Imam Zain al-Abidin, Imam al-Hussein, any of the Ahlul Bayt, if they were asked, they would sit with them. Same as with our 8th Imam, Ali ibn Musa Rida alayhi salatu wasalam, he would do the same thing. And we have that when they were sitting for food, he put, before starting the food, he would separate best part of the food. Let's say if there is meat, there's some tender meat, right? If there's anything, there is a part of the food that is considered the prime quality of the food or the most delicious part. Imam would separate that before starting the food, and then they said distribute it among the servants. And then Imam would go with the rest. And he would sit with them. And someone criticized him because you are Wali Ahad. You're the successor of Ma'mun. You're the one next in line. You're now royalty. He didn't choose, but he was summoned from Medina to Khurasan. They criticized him. Why are you sitting with the servants? You're royalty, you know, they should have their own place. You should have your own place. It's part of the royalty, right? And Imam alayhi salam said, that's not the way my grandfather Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was. He would sit with everyone. I will do the same. So I said this to get to the point that in our faith seeking knowledge, learning, I can, without hesitation, without doubt say, that no other religion out there emphasized on learning and seeking knowledge to the degree that we did in Islam. The number of hadiths, the number of narration, the number of, we can refer to them as stories from the Ahlul Bayt on the emphasis and significance of knowledge. I said the eating part, that when you go to the center, if you eat together, do not look at that as a waste of time. Even that is something, a gift. We need it as well. You should eat on your own and alone to know the difference and quality of food when you eat with others. There's a big difference. There are studies about this as well. Our mental health took a big hit during COVID because of this loneliness, because of these things that we take for granted. We criticize them. But that should not be the only benefit. I come to the center, I come to the masjid. The only reason is not to have the food, is not only to hang out, is not only to socialize. These are elements of it. But also it should be about learning. But this learning happens when there is the capacity for it. I'm going to mention an ayah and a hadith today and wrap up my talk. I didn't say it's the end of my talk. Do not criticize me. I'm not going to end my talk, but I'm going to get to the verse and get to the hadith. What is the ayah? The ayah I begin my speech with. Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 171. Allah used an analogy, used an example, a parable. وَمَثَلُ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا. Allah said, the example and the analogy of the faithless, kafir, the one who rejects the truth, the one who rejects belief, a faithless person. كَمَثَلِ الَّذِي يَنْعِقُ بِمَا لَا يَسْمَعُ إِلَّا دُعَاءً وَنِدَاءً. Is that of someone who shouts after what which does not hear anything except a call and cry. In other translation, when they open up, they said this is an example of this person who has no faith, meaning they listen to the Quran, they listen to the Prophet, they looked at the signs, miracles, everything. But they choose not to believe, they choose to ignore all the data, all the information, all the facts, all the miracles, all the signs was rejected. The reason this happened to them, said the example of them, the analogy of them is like someone when you are shouting at animals, let's say you have cattle, right? You have cattle, livestock, and you're shouting at them about danger. Let's say a train is coming and a livestock, could be a cow, a camel, a horse, whatever that is. You're shouting at it, danger, get away. And all these calls, all these cries that you're making is meaningless to that livestock. Summun bukmun umyun fahum la ya'qilun. The analogy of them is they are deaf, dumb, and blind. They do not exercise their reason. They do not use their aql. They do not use their intellect. Meaning when Prophet talks to them, they don't even get it, what they're talking about. This is an analogy which is very important. Because sometimes people ask me, why I talk to my children, why I talk to my, let's say, coworker, I talk to this family, relative, and I tell them why you're losing your faith, why you don't practice, why you don't believe in this, why you don't come to the, Eid prayer or Muharram or these majal. I'm shocked at why they remember that the language you speak, they don't understand. The reason for that is summun bukmun. There's something that preventing them from hearing. It could be their sin, it could be their love for dunya, it could be anything. It could be their priorities is somewhere else. And this is not to judge other people. This is to say and recognize the reason, the root. Because this analogy wants to teach us a point. That's for some kafarud, for the kafir, it's not that they know sometimes the truth is. Sometimes they don't even get it. Like for example, when you talk to some people about ziyarat of Imam Hussain alayhi salam, the pleasure you gain from, they don't get it. Doesn't matter what language you speak. It's up to them. They don't. You talk about the meaning of it, the impactfulness of it, the connection you have, the spirituality. No. None of that makes sense. The wire is disconnected, is cut off. Same as for some people, again, some of the wires are disconnected. They get it until to a certain point. I love God, but I don't pray. Not more than just love. That's it. I love this, but I'm still going to have my drinking and other part. I love. There's some elements missing. And that's why learning is so critical. What ilm does, what true knowledge does. Learning and ilm is what opens our eyes. Knowledge and ilm is what opens our eyes. It helps us to see the truth. To memorize all these songs out there and lyrics of the songs, this is no ilm. All due respect, memorizing phone numbers and brag about it that I memorized 20 phone numbers, alhamdulillah, my memory is good, that's not ilm. These are good. These are information that you have, but they're not ilm. Ilm is what opened our eyes to the meaning of life. That's what ilm is. Al-ilmu nurun. Ilm is light. The analogy that was used for ilm, narrated by our sixth Imam. The one who is, we know him as the muallim of the school of Ahlul Bayt, Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq alayhi salam. So ilm is light, means that the more you learn, the less of a confusion you will be in. I said sometimes we watch a video, we listen to an entire lecture, we read an entire book, at the end of it, I'm more confused than I begin with. To propose questions, that's good, is necessary. Good question is half of the answer, but that's not ilm, that's not knowledge. Knowledge is light. You're in darkness, it provides some light. Let's say if you don't have all the knowledge, you don't have a lot of knowledge, but it should be enough to see the corner of the room. It should be able to see some of the room. So this ayah is critical. That's why Quran said, قُلْ هَلْ يَسْتَوِي الَّذِينَ يَعْلَمُونَ وَالَّذِينَ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ. Do you think those who know and those who do not know, they're equal? They're the same? Obviously not. Never underestimate the value of learning. And when I say learning, is learning about anything from our faith, but that ilm should be something that is beneficial. In Salatul Asr, Namaz Asr, there is a ta'qibat, there is a prayer after. We ask Allah to protect us, we seek refuge to Him from certain things. Allahumma inni a'udhu bika. The same way we say, a'udhu billah min ash-shaytan ar-rajim. Here we say, Allahumma inni a'udhu bika. Ya Allah, I ask you to protect me. I seek refuge to you from what? Min nafsin la tashba'. From this nafs, this self, this ego that is never fulfilled, never satisfied, it never satiates. A nafs that no matter how much I do, there's always this nagging, complaining noise that is not enough. If there's a good food, no, it's something missing about it. If there's a good bed, something is wrong. This nafs who's never satiated. Nafsin la tashba'. Ya Allah, protect me from such an ego, from such a nafs, from such a self. Because it will make me miserable. That no matter what I do, no matter what I have is never enough. That's why it's important to read these dua with the meaning. What a better dua you can ask Allah. You can ask for 20 cars, but if you have a self that is never enough, that 20 cars is not going to make you fulfilled. You want more. You can have all the money and say, I wish I had more. I could have made more. وَمِن قَلْبٍ لَا يَخْشَى. Ya Allah, I seek refuge to you to have a heart, to have a soul that is not humble, that is not God-fearing, that is arrogant. And then among the things we ask Allah to protect us from is وَمِن عِلْمٍ لَا يَنْفَعُ. Ya Allah, protect us. Seek refuge to you from a knowledge that is not helpful, that is not beneficial. There's a knowledge, there's information, there's understanding that doesn't help me. Amaliya Shaykh al-Saduq narrate this riwayah that Prophet came to the mosque. He saw all these people gather around a man. There's a crowd. What's going on? They said, an allama, an expert, a very knowledgeable person is here. Oh, allama means someone who has ilm in a very extensive level. What knowledge he has? Prophet asked. They responded, he knows ansabul Arab. He knows the Arab's ancestry. At the time, Arabs were boasting, bragging about their ancestry. That's my expertise. You are the son of him and him and him. You're from this tribe and this tribe and this tribe. And Prophet said, do not call this ilm. Knowing this and not knowing this makes no difference. If you have all the knowledge of this or no, it doesn't make a difference. You memorize all of them. Remember, say, okay, what about us and our culture and our family tree? That's good. There's a benefit. The benefit of knowing your own family tree, your own ancestry, your own heritage, it helps you to have an identity. There is a benefit. But to know that my expertise is that I know the Ansab al-Arab. That's the only benefit that I have, is I make these arrogant people more arrogant. That probably was the benefit for them. So you're confused about knowledge. This is not knowledge. So what we're learning in pursuit of knowledge should be something that is beneficial to dunya or akhirah. Either I'm learning how to live, how to function in this life, and in the hereafter. That's the knowledge we're in need of. But before I get to the hadith, رسالة صلوات الله محمد وعلى محمد. In a way, in a process of seeking knowledge, we should learn what is beneficial, all of that, something that has benefit to our dunya and akhirah. But one thing we should not forget, that in the process of learning, steadfastness is necessary. You cannot learn everything, you cannot learn a lot in one sitting, in one day, in 1 week, in 1 month. Unlike what we like to, we can't. The hadith is from Nahj al-Balagha, Hikmah number 147. Look at it yourself. I cannot go through the entire hadith. Is the conversation, the words of Imam Ali alayhi salam to Kumail ibn Ziyad al-Nakhai. Dua Kumail that we know. There's this conversation between Imam Ali and Kumail. أخذ بيدي أمير المؤمنين علي بن أبي طالب فأخرجني إلى الجبان. Kumail is the one narrating that one day Imam Ali alayhi salam, he got my hand, he held my hand and took me to a graveyard. And when we passed through the graveyard, left the city behind, he breathed a deep sigh and said, تنفس السعداء, a loud sigh, a loud breath, exhale. يا كميل ابن زياد إن هذه القلوب أوعية فخيرها أوعاها. Said, oh Kumail, these hearts are containers. Aw'iyah is a plural. Dharf is something that you use like a container, a plate or something that holds something else. Imam Ali said, our hearts, our soul are like containers. We're born with nothing, empty. عَلَّمَ الْإِنسَانَ مَا لَمْ يَعْلَمْ, Quran says. That we knew nothing. He taught us what we don't know. So when you say there are containers, means they're empty. They're ready to be filled. And the best of these hearts is which one? The one that preserves its content. فَخَيْرُهَا أَوْعَاهَا. The one who's capable of protecting what's in it, that's the best of hearts, meaning not losing it. فَاحْفَظْ عَنِّي مَا أَقُولُ لَكَ. Then protect this, keep it with yourself, what I'm going to share with you, this teaching, this advice. النَّاسُ ثَلَاثَةً. People are 3 types. There are 3 types of people. فَعَالِمٌ رَبَّانِي. The first one, or is a scholar that is basically, Rabbani means godly scholars, divine scholars, meaning those who attain knowledge for the sake of Allah. The knowledge they understand, the purpose of it is to make them servants of Allah. Alimun Rabbani, that's one group. وَمُتَعَلِّمٌ عَلَى سَبِيلِ نَجَاتٍ. The second type are the seekers of knowledge who is also on the way of being saved and deliverance. Najat means they are trying, they're on the path, they're learning. And there's a third type. وَهَمَجٌ رَعَاءٌ أَتْبَاعُ كُلِّ نَاعِقٍ. And the third type, lastly, is the common rot who run after every color. Again, I wanted to get to this specific word because it has a beauty in the word that Imam Ali alayhi salam uses. The word that Imam uses is Hamaj al-Ra'a', meaning a type of people who are foolish, who are ignorant, and they are Ra'a', meaning they change their direction like a banner. By the direction of the wind, they change. When you have no content, when your heart is empty of any substantial guidance, then you are that kind of person who is just changing direction. From one place to another, from one stand to another. When I see young people losing faith one of the reasons, aside from bad influence and peer pressure and all the other factors, one reason is when our knowledge of deen is very, very superficial. All I know of deen is salat, prayers, and I don't have deeper understanding of my faith. I do not have a proper understanding of the history of Islam. Not that I'm a historian, but at least I know all these accusations against Prophet. I don't need somebody else to tell me how he lived. I actually know how he lived. One of the reasons the loss of faith happened is because of this change of direction. Because that young man or woman is not alimun rabbani, he's not knowledgeable. Either they're not muta'allim, they're not seeker of knowledge either, they're not trying to increase their knowledge, uplift their understanding of their faith. Unfortunately, there's a third type, which is, again, you have some faith and it is what it is. And the issue with that is we change. Somebody charismatic, somebody influential, somebody that is more learned than you, they can come and easily persuade you. They can easily change you. Why? Because my basis, my container is empty. If my container has something, there's no room for anything else. Or it will be easily mixed and dissolved. Let's say if you have a lot of water in the container and you put something, that water has the capability, depending on how much it is, to get rid of whatever that minimal amount of mixture that it was. But if it's empty and you're filling it with everything that you find around you, I watched this video, I listened to this TikToker, I listened to that, colleague or classmate, then easily I'm persuaded. يَمِيلُونَ مَعَ كُلِّ رِيحٍ. The third type, these people who run after every color, they run after every person, they bend in the direction of every wind. This is the analogy of Imam Ali alayhi salam. ثُمَّ يَسْتَضِيءُ بِنُورِ الْعِلْمِ. They seek no light from the affluence of the knowledge, from the beauty of the knowledge. وَلَمْ يَلْجَأُوا إِلَىٰ رُكْنٍ وَثِيقٍ. And they do not take protection of any reliable support. Meaning all they get is the surface. In another part of Nahj al-Balagha, and also in other teaching of Ahlul Bayt, we have that these three types are also mentioned by Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam, that there are three types of people. Those who are seekers of knowledge, الناس ثلاثة عالم ومتعلم وغثاء. People are three types. Either they are knowledgeable scholars, they're seekers of knowledge, or the غثاء. What is غثاء? Is a dry plant that is, when there is moving water, they are the one floating, basically. Imagine a dry plant, a dry stick who's floating with the direction of the water, rather than a tree that regardless of the water, they are firming the roots in the ground. Some people are like that, means they have no foundation. One day I'm religious, I hang out with religious people. One day I'm a cool guy, whatever the definition of cool is. One day I'm this way, one day, again, whatever is the mood, whatever is available to me. That's why consistency matters, and we talk about the importance of consistency. Let me wrap up, inshallah, the hadith. Ya kumail, al-ilmu khayrun min al-mal. I remember when I was a student in elementary school, they asked us to write an essay about this. Which one is better? Wealth or knowledge? And then make your argument and prove your argument. Here Imam Ali alayhi salam said, Al-ilmu khayrun min al-mal. Knowledge is better than wealth. Al-ilmu yahrusuk. Knowledge guards you, protects you. If you're knowledgeable, you don't make a fool out of yourself. If you're knowledgeable, you have purpose. Other people don't give you their purpose to follow. You have your own purpose. وَأَنْتَ تَحْرُسُ الْمَالِ. But you have to guard your wealth. You have to be worried. Inflation, thieves, insurance, all these things. I have to be worried about protecting my wealth. وَالْمَالُ تَنْقُصُهُ النَّفَقَةِ. Wealth decreases by spending. وَالْعِلْمُ يُزَكُّ عَلَى الْإِنفَاقِ. يَزَكُّ عَلَى الْإِنفَاقِ. Knowledge is increased when you spend it. وَصَنِيعُ الْمَالِ يَزُولُ بِزَوَالِهِ. And the result of wealth die as wealth decays. Whatever, even the most hype, the most trendy thing that you buy, eventually it dies down. It's not going to stay forever. What was the new one day is going to get old one day. يا كميل معرفة العلم دين يدان به. Be aware, O Kumail. Knowledge is belief which is acted upon. به يكسب الإنسان الطاعة في حياته. With this knowledge, man acquires obedience during his life. You recognize the purpose. That's why in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when it talks about the creation of everything, وَمَا خَلَقْنَا السَّمَاءَ وَالْأَرْضَ وَمَا بَيْنَهُمَا. We did not create the sky and the earth and whatever is between them. The world and the space around us, everything. باطلا. We did not create all of this in vain. Meaning, vain means pointless. We did not create all of this for nothing. There is a purpose. There is a goal, there is an aim. We did not create all of this for you to waste your time, to waste your life, and then die. ذَلِكَ ظَنُّ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا. SubhanAllah, even modern atheists, this applies to them. Allah said, those who think all this creation, they don't call it creation of Allah. They said, but still, it was somehow come to existence. We say there's a design. There's a designer behind it. There's a purpose. They say it's not. It is what it is. I mentioned it hundreds of times. You heard it from me. The main argument is that we are stardust. We're somehow fortunate, lucky, whatever it was. We came to what it is right now. We evolved. But there is no big purpose. There is no destination. There is no goal. Be a decent person. Why? Because we need to live together. Otherwise, it will be jungle. So all these morality that we talk about, there's no higher purpose for this morality. We do it because it is the reasonable thing. It's more efficient that way. You have more money, give it to the poor, because then you have less poor people, and then there will be more safety, more security. That's the benefit. You don't help the poor people, qurbatan, none of that. So ultimately, you're getting back something from it. Allah said this kind of thinking, that all this existence is for nothing, is aimless, is pointless. This is the conjecture of the faithless. This is what the assumption of the kafir is. They think all of this is for nothing. So the knowledge is a responsibility for us to attain, and also be selective about what we learn. We do not have time to learn everything. We need to be selective. So what we should learn? Min ilmin la yanfa. We don't want to learn something that is not beneficial. I remember a scholar years ago, my teacher used to tell me, I was invited to this village. This is back in, I would say, in the 90s, in his story, in my teacher's story. So in this village, they did not have access to a scholar. I was visiting for tabligh during the month of Ramadan. I was there for Ramadan. Nobody wanted to go there because it was such a remote area. But I said, it was early years of my tabligh, I said, I'm going to do something. So I went there. And after spending time with them, I figured out that how much they don't know about their faith. Even basics of prayers they didn't know. They don't even know how to do proper wudu. There was a lot of issues. So I starting from basic. Okay, this is what we believe in. This is our aqidah. This is our furu', branches of faith. This is the way we do proper wudu, salat, ghusl, everything. And I started having Q&A with the youth if they have any question about why did we believe in God, why we have to believe in religion, what's the point of, I started having those. So one night I was giving lecture in this village at the place that I was invited. In the midst of my speech, somebody interrupted my lecture. It's fine. This man who's, mashallah, at the time it was obvious he was in his 40s, so he was not a young man. It should be someone in their 40s, should be wise enough by the 40s, inshallah. All of us, we pray to Allah for that. And he said, Shaykh, tell me, what was the name of the mother-in-law of Musa? And I look at him, I said, I don't know. So what kind of a scholar you are that you don't know the name of mother-in-law of Musa? So I'm kind of a scholar that I don't know the name of the mother-in-law, that kind of a scholar. I did not sit here to say I know everything. But my question is, if you know the name. He said, yes, I know. I said, okay, that was the whole point. You wanted to say you know. Bismillah, what's it? What is the name? And she shared. I said, okay, tell me now that you know, how are you going to use that in your life? How is that going to improve your iman? You know it. علم لا ينفع. There's so much that we know that we don't know why we know. And that's not just in religion, it's the same in our education. Our students learn so many things that they never use them. I remember in my college time, I learned so much that I don't know what was the point of it. And you can say to our student the same, right? They learn so much. Today we were talking with family. I said, we learned so much about penguins, all different kind of them. And we think about why. Am I going to be a zoologist? Am I planning to travel to the penguin's habitat? Is it that suddenly I'm going to see a penguin in the street of Simi Valley and recognize which kind it is? Well, we do. And for kids, it's entertaining, it's good. But we cannot say this is what should I prioritize to learn. Same as about our deen. Choose what is going to be beneficial to our dunya and akhirah. There's so many ahkam and rules that we have to learn, but start with those ahkam that you need the most. We need to learn the ahkam of our salat because we do it every single day. We need to know the moment you start business, you have to learn the ahkam of halal income, haram income, the rules of makasib, the rules of earning. As we grow older, we have to think about, okay, am I wajib al-hajj? Should I go to hajj? Is it wajib on me? You learn about, again, mayyit, how to perform ghusl, how to wash a dead body, how to do proper burial. These are necessities. These are things that we learn because they have a benefit. And once you sit in the minbar, the same applies. And when we learn about Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, what's the benefit? And I always, in the first lecture, I talk about the benefit. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant all of us the tawfiq of learning from the message of Quran, from the message of Islam, which without a doubt, the message of Quran and Islam is the message of Allahu Nurun. Allah is light. Our faith is not about taking us to more confusion and more darkness. Rather, our faith is to give us answers. Why we suffer? What's the point of suffering? Why my du'as are not answers? All of this was answered by our faith. If I don't know the answer, it doesn't mean they don't exist. Yuridullah bikumul yusr. Wala yuridu bikumul usr. Allah wanted ease for us. Faith makes things easier. It gives us purpose. It gives us direction. It gives our lives meaning. And ilm is the method of learning, is the method of acquiring that light of guidance. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala free us from the darknesses of jahl and ignorance, and lead us to the light of knowledge and guidance and hidayah with the salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Inshallah, Sunday and Monday. The reason we do Sunday, because Monday is the 28th of Safar, is the anniversary of the departure of Holy Prophet, and we're going to honor Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam on Sunday night, the night of the 28th, like for example we did on the night of Shahada of the Ahlul Bayt. And then Monday night we do it for the last day of Safar, according to one narration, is the martyrdom and Shahadat of Imam Rida alayhi salam. And we're going to honor it the night of the 29th of Safar. We don't know if Safar is going to be 30 days or 29, but what we're going to do, inshallah, on the Monday night, we're going to honor Shahadat of Imam Rida alayhi salam. Some say Imam al-Hassan also, there's one report that 28th of Safar is the Shahadat of Imam al-Hassan and Prophet. We did for Imam al-Hassan, because there's another narration, 7th of Safar for Imam Hassan al-Mujtaba, which is the one that many of our ulama actually adhere to. We did that one on the 7th of Safar, but inshallah on the 28th, if we are going to honor Imam al-Hassan, Imam al-Hassan is someone that Prophet loved, and I'm pretty sure if we talk of Imam al-Hassan, it will be what our Prophet loved to spend time learning from Imam al-Hassan as well. But inshallah, the dedication of the majlis would be for the Prophet, peace be upon him, and his family, and we will start both night at 8 p.m. Next Friday, we will go inshallah a bit earlier. I know that Salat is getting earlier, so by next Friday, Salat will be at 7:30. So inshallah, we will start at 7:30 next Friday. But please don't confuse yourself. You get an email for that one. But Sunday and Monday, we will be meeting inshallah here at 8 p.m. And please participate. These are the final days that we should honor the Holy Prophet, the best of creation. That there is a statement by Imam Ali alayhi salam that if life would have been eternal, the one was worthy of living for eternity was Prophet. So what a better way to honor the one that was the master, the teacher of Ali ibn Abi Talib, and the best of creation. Inshallah, that would be a best way we can conclude the month of Safar, with honoring these two important personality of our faith and Islam, inshallah. Without further ado, inshallah, we get to the ziyarat and salam. I wanted to thank, inshallah, the speakers who kindly accepted our invitation, and JazakAllah khayr for everyone who showed up and participated in the majalis. It is important to know that we need fresh perspective. We need other speakers also to come and share their knowledge. And the importance is that at the end of the day, we learn, regardless who is the person talking. If they say the haqq and truth, we take it. If the one who says it, even if it's our parents say something that is not ilm. Allah said in the Quran that your walidain, your parents, if they ask you, تَقْفُ مَا لَيْسَ لَكَ بِهِ عِلْم, to stop on a position, on a stand that you have no knowledge of. They ask you to do something foolish. فَلَا تُطِعْهُمَا, then you don't obey your parents. So it's not about the who, it's not about the whom, it's about the what that they're saying. If they say the haqq, inshallah, we learn from that. For the well-being of those speakers, Hajj Kawthar Khan and Sayyid Radawiyan, let's recite a salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. And let's not forget of the suffering of people of Palestine and Gaza. Just seeing that humanity moved on with Olympic and now Paralympic and everything. But suffering still continues. I saw this video which was heartbreaking, that no child deserves to say those kind of sentences. And among the sentences was that I wish I was dead. Some of these children who lost their parents, who they're pulling their family members and loved one from under the rubbles. Imagine a 7-year-old, a 10-year-old. They say, I wish I was dead. And all we can do is to say that this is not normal. We're not going to let that be another number just increasing to the death toll. Not only us, but many free people of the world are watching this, and they will remember this. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will do justice. That's the promise of Allah, that no one will get away with their injustice. But that's not all on Allah. Because Allah said, I give you the tools to do what you can. You can just wait for me. إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُغَيِّرُ مَا بِقَوْمٍ حَتَّى يُغَيِّرُوا مَا بِأَنفُسِهِمْ. We will not bring change unless people start and initiate the change themselves. So we do not forget the atrocities that are happening in Gaza, the occupiers, those hands who are drenched in blood, and the support that is going for them, the destructions that we see, the suffering, the calls for help. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, our dua is to bless the soul of all the innocent, all the shuhada who lost their lives. Now there are over the 40,000, but according to some studies out there that they say the numbers are much more than that because they did not count the number of people who are under the rubbles. May Allah bless their soul, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be the one who stand up and establish justice on their behalf in dunya and akhirah. May Allah humiliate and punish the oppressors and the zalimeen, and those who support the zalimeen, those who are advocate for them on their behalf, those who are happy. As we say in Ziyarat Ashura, that's why it's important. Benefit of Ziyarat Ashura is that you understand dhulm is never normal. How can I say I talk about dhulm that was done to Imam al-Hussein and his family, and let this be another normal thing? It's not. For a Shia of Ahlul Bayt, dhulm is never normal. Injustice is never acceptable. And we say, Ya Allah, remove your mercy from those who commit the injustice themselves, and radiyat bih, those who are pleased with the dhulm. Ya Allah, remove your mercy from them. Because those who are also culprit, they are accomplice, that you see the injustice and you're happy. So it is what it is. You are overjoyed by the suffering of Palestinian and people of Gaza. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bring an end to their suffering. May Allah grant them their freedom. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala hasten the return of Imam over time, which we believe his coming will be the true justice for all humanity, for all the people of the world. With the Surah Fatiha and Salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, alhamdulillah rabbil alamin, ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Alaykum. Let's inshallah stand up. We finish with the ziyarah. وعجل اللهم في فرج مولانا صاحب العصر والزمان. السلام عليك يا رسول الله يا نبي الله يا خير خلق الله يا خاتم النبيين. السلام عليك يا أمير المؤمنين ويا إمام المتقين علي بن أبي طالب. السلام عليك يا فاطمة الزهراء سيدة نساء العالمين. السلام عليكم أيها الحسن والحسين سبطي نبي الرحمة وسيدي شباب أهل الجنة أجمعين. السلام على علي بن الحسين زين العابدين. السلام على محمد بن علي الباقر. السلام على جعفر بن محمد الصادق. السلام على موسى بن جعفر الكاظم. السلام على علي بن موسى الرضا. السلام على محمد بن علي التقي الجواد. السلام على علي بن محمد الهادي النقي. السلام على حسن بن علي العسكري الزكي. السلام عليك يا صاحب الزمان يا خليفة الرحمن يا إمام الإنس والجان. عجل الله تعالى فرجك وسهل الله تعالى مخرجك وظهورك. السلام عليكم يا أهل بيت النبوة ورحمة الله وبركاته. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وآله الطاهرين.